Okay, we're going to go through how to make this drawing, the star drawing. The reason I give you this drawing is to show you a few different ways that CAD functions. We're going to be looking down here at the bottom of our screen into our drafting tool area, and we're going to take a look at the grid. We're also going to take a look at OSnap as in addition to the snap mode. Now the snap mode is different than the OSnap tool. Everything we've done so far in here works with the OSnap tool or the object snap tool. That's where when we draw a line, I'm going to use my object line, I'm going to grab my line, I'm not actually linking to my grid, I'm just drawing a line from point to point, and then if I grab another line, it actually snaps to the end of a line. Okay, you guys know that that must be set up, and you must have your OSnaps on so that it is linked. You can't zoom in close and get it close. So what the snap mode does in the difference to the object snap is when I turn on my snap mode and I grab a line, notice that my cursor will not leave the grid. I cannot click in the center of a grid square. If I turn my snap off, I can. It's very easy for me to get to the center. I can click and draw a line. But when I turn my snap on, I am now locked to the grid. I cannot move off the grid. Now, this is beneficial in that knowing that the grid is a 1/2 inch in spacing in the X and the Y, you can utilize that information to draw. Okay, so with the snap tool activated, your grid turned on, I'm going to go ahead and start creating that star drawing. And I'm going to just go ahead and click and draw a 4-inch line. Now, it's very easy to also use your dimension tool and just, sort of jump to the next lines, or you can type in 4 and draw a 4-inch line. So I'll just go ahead and draw a 4-inch line for one quadrant of that drawing. So this is just going to be one quadrant. It doesn't matter which one that you create. We'll make one and then copy. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to look at the spacing, and the dimensions given here are telling me that each line is set 1 inch away from the previous line from center on both axes. Okay, it's a 1-inch separation. So what I'm going to do is come back up here. I'm going to grab my line tool. So if I start at the top and I'm coming down, this line should not be out here. This line should be 1 inch from center over. All right. So if I come down and click, well, there's my 1-inch line. I'll keep doing that where I grab my line. I'm going to come down to this particular position. That's 1 inch down from the top. And I'm going to come over and move over to center and click. And I'm basically building out my star very quickly, making sure that I am what would be a 1/2 inch and then 1 inch away, and then clicking. And notice that I actually sit there for a moment. Okay? If you run too quickly, whoop, see how I clicked up here, and this is what I want you to see. My OSnap is turned on down here. Let me turn off my line weight so you can see this a little better. My OSnap is turned on, and my endpoint grip is showing up, or my endpoint OSnap is showing up. When I come up 1 inch from the bottom or 1 inch from my last line and sit there, it jumps, or it has the tendency to jump back to my OSnap. Now this time I sat there long enough that it recognized that I wanted to be in that position. Sometimes what you need to do is just sit in a position on the AutoCAD screen long enough, because if I didn't sit there long enough, it jumped back to the endpoint. If I then actually very slowly make the move, the extension turns on, and it will jump to the position where you want to be. The time that you actually hover over an area, AutoCAD is reading information. Okay, so that is one way that you can adjust and manipulate using snap versus OSnap. Now the other thing you can also do is turn off your OSnaps, and then no OSnap will be functioning, and you will not need to sit and hover to override the OSnap. Okay, it's just another way that AutoCAD can function in that you can turn things on and off. I highly recommend, if you turn off the OSnap, make sure you turn it back on when you draw anything else. If you don't have snaps, you need OSnap. Okay? If you don't have your OSnap, you need your snaps. And you must then make sure everything is based off of 0.5. So once you have this set up and you have this drawn, We're going to use the mirror tool. We're just going to highlight all this information, or all these lines. I'm going to grab the mirror tool from the modify bar, and I click on one line, or the end point of one line, and then you can see that I'm just bringing this down and around to the other side. And as I bring it down and around, my command line asks me for specify second point of mirror line down here. Well, the second point is just going to be any other point on that mirror plane. I select it, erase the source, this over here, no, and I'm going to mirror this again. So I'll mirror this point, grab my mirror tool, again, point to point, erase the source, no. And then my star drawing is complete. Fairly simple process. Now we just go to the dimension layer, we grab our dimension tool, and then you can start dimensioning your drawing. If I wanted to have a little more freedom of placement for dimensions, I can turn my snaps off, also turn off my grid to clean it up and make it look a little easier to see.